Oh, what are you making? Soup over there?
Souply. Soup ladle.
Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits. Coming to you from the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California. It may not be sunny all day, but the sun came out at one point or another, so
What
I'm
you look like
claiming
all
it.
business over there. You're taking notes.
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
looking at
she's
the
like-
screen.
she's
You're
very
all like
serious.
Yeah.
somber.
I got a job to do over here.
Sun's out, buns out.
This is supposed to be the happiest place on earth. Sun's out, buns out. I saw a kid getting spanked at Disneyland down south.
Really?
Like, this is supposed to be the happiest place on earth. Yeah, and if a frog had wings, it wouldn't bump his rump. I know. We've been down south lately.
Hey everyone, this is Liza, and I am back once again. I've been out gallivanting around, having fun, eating sea bugs aplenty, and but always come back for the Sunday, my favorite thing. And I have to say, what a relief it was as I was working in the garage today, and to hear that hello as Emma pulls up. And it's gone like full circle from being oh shit to now oh great.
It's not funny.
Because
It'll go back again. No, the pendulum will swing again.
You weren't here last week, and you were so missed, and so it just made me appreciate you more when you showed up and could take care of shit, so I can get shit done. And
Yeah.
it was like, hey, Emma's here; she can take care of stuff.
And I did.
There is a new traditional greeting at the garage. It goes, "Hey, Liza, when does Emma get here?"
Hello. Hello.
Although you were helping with a brake fluid change when I showed up this morning. Thanks for the recognition, by the way. I come by at dark 30 to keep you company.
Thank you. Of course, that is the lovely voice of Miss Emma.
Aloha, darlings.
Hello.
So I missed last week's. So if you remember, I was hosting while you were gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope everybody enjoyed the Emma hosted shows. And then I missed last week because I was doing other things. Stuffing my face, actually, with the brunch at the Bayonet Black Horse Golf Course.
Yes.
And I ate so much I had to have a little lie down after.
I would imagine the brunch at Bayonet Black Horse is not to be underestimated.
Oh, God, no. And if you don't shovel as much of that stuff into your face as possible, you know, you're really missing out.
And no one's seen the kernel matter as when they ran out of the popcorn shrimp. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yes, I had to have a little cry and a lie down afterwards. Which is why I went, but I'm back. I'm back. And actually, I had a surprise today. So I thought, oh, I'll give the Harley an airing, as one does. And I got quite heavily rained on coming here, and I really wasn't expecting. Well, no, I did the dutiful thing. I did the proper thing. I looked at the weather forecast and everything, and I don't mind
It
getting.
wasn't supposed to rain.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't actually mind getting rained on, because if you learn to ride in England, if you don't want to ride in the rain, you ain't riding. It's as simple as that. But I do like to wear the appropriate gear. So, of course, I've got leather everything on today, so I got very heavy quite quickly.
I thought that was aroma was Ray, but apparently no. It's Emma growing fungus in her
Yes,
pants
yes.
at the moment.
So I'm getting very sporish.
And have a release soon.
Exactly. But, yeah, lane splitting in the wet on a Harley is quite an interesting pursuit.
And a lot of it's under construction too.
I mean, the whole of, you know, it's there's a window for those who aren't familiar with like California culture. There's a window for road construction, and they tend to do it in the spring and the fall, because summertime the roads are so busy, and wintertime it rains quite often, so they can't do it at all. So the springtime, everything's being built, and the projects they miss, they'll revisit in the fall. But it's always a hassle. I mean, you really can't go anywhere in California right now without being impacted by huge amounts of traffic.
Did you happen to see a rainbow? It was a rainbow kind of day if
Yes.
you were out and about.
I didn't actually. I did not. but I always carry a rainbow in my heart, darling.
Don't we all?
Yes,
We do.
absolutely. Isn't that right, Raymond?
It's absolutely right.
Yes,
and of
there you
course,
are,
that
darling.
would be the lovely voice of Raymond.
Hey, hello, everybody.
Ray. You ready for some adventure, Ray?
I am ready for adventure. I've been prepping.
Yes. Well, Ray.
Is that stashing a lot of food and batteries?
Well, no, it's been taking the bike to Emma to get it
Yes.
all.
Well, just hang on there, Ray, because we're not going to talk about me fixing your bike. We're talking about that lovely lunch that you accompanied me, and because I enjoy eating, and apparently Ray does as well.
Well, I mean,
did you
isn't it
go?
obvious?
Down
Hello.
Marina or Monterey? Where were you?
We went to the diner.
Of course, that's best lunch in town.
Oh God Almighty! He was nearly at a coma afterwards.
Well, yeah, best Filipino American breakfast you could have on the planet. I think.
Yeah.
Very good.
But yes, so there we go.
What adventure you taking domestically? A domestic advencer you're doing?
No, that's the rally.
Oh, the one this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he bought some very posh fog lights. Well, are they fog lights, driving lights?
Oh, I had to because Emma broke my others.
Oh, you rotter. You absolute rotter. I pointed out they were broken, and then by
Yes.
default I
And
broke.
then I get home and one of them is dangling over the crash guard.
Well, no, and I mean, that's the Mototown way. You know, we surreptitiously break stuff. Oh, it's broken. We need to fix that. No, it's clearly it's a very poorly maintained bike.
What?
Yes, you threw me under the bus, mate. You're going the same
What do
way.
you have, like a Triumph now? Or a GS?
No, this is the 690.
Oh,
The-
yeah. Well, that's right. So
Yeah.
you-
All right, Emma, I need you to do me a favor. I'm just trying to get through the introduction.
Oh, sorry,
doing a
darling.
terrible
I'm going to
job,
shut up
Liza.
now.
Terrible
I'm
job.
I'm going to shut
Where's
up.
Leon? Where's Stumpy?
Of course.
Get this
That's
show
Naked
back
Jim,
on
Naked
track.
Jim.
Hey,
I got a
hey.
gift for you in Peru.
You got a gift for me?
Right here.
I did
Ready?
see
You're going to
some-
catch?
Okay, yeah.
It's part of a llama. Is it llama poop?
Apparently, it is a heart.
It's a heart with a dangling bit.
It's a heart with a dangling bit.
Good Lord.
Yes. If anybody, I think it's good luck.
Yeah.
Some
It's a
people wear it as a
fertility
hat.
symbol.
You can slap them around. Thank you. I'll cherish it. I'll keep it.
Put it on the bike.
it's
Put
a
it on
little
the bike.
pipe.
It looks like a little plug.
Oh, it's a pipe.
It's a plug.
That still
little
allows
plug.
you to fart. Oh, wow.
It's in case you have to have a tracheotomy. You ram this down your throat.
So what you're saying is if you have to have a tracheotomy, you smoke weed out of your
You
ass.
just punch it straight into your throat.
have to take weed as a suppository.
No.
'Cause I
Where am I? I don't.
What?
I am no part to. I don't know what
All right.
Emma, we only have one more introduction.
Sorry,
and
no.
then you can
Sorry.
go.
we'll be quiet now.
And of course, everyone's favorite ginger, it's Bagel.
Greetings from Oregon, where it is rainbow season, in fact.
Oh.
Yeah, how
no
is-
rain?
Oh, yeah. I mean, constantly raining off and on. And I saw one of the biggest rainbows I've ever seen the other day, just all the way across the sky.
Fantastic.
As they say.
And how is life in Velveeta?
It's cheesy.
Yeah, jeez.
Runny.
Yeah.
Runny.
How are the horses? Are the horses back yet?
Oh, yes, they're back.
Are they frolicking?
Yes, they're frolicking and gallivanting around the pasture.
Okay, good-o.
And hear them whinnying and having fun. So
Make
yeah,
that noise again.
Very suggestive.
No!
Can't while you're laughing.
No, I'm not going to make that noise. That's not a nice noise.
It was the noise of someone putting hair gel in their hair.
Yeah. Well,
it might have
that's
something to
one
do
way
with
to
I
put
think,
it.
horses
I think
frolicking.
Liza's given up now. On with the show.
Yeah,
She's gambling on her phone.
I have some quick announcements.
Ooh, we like
today.
those.
I don't think Ray's seen this yet.
I just
The
ordered it
new
yesterday.
shirts have
I
arrived.
ordered
What do you
it yesterday.
think?
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
nice.
That is cool.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
I like
you
it.
see that bagel? It's got a nameless man on a
Shirtless.
vintage bike.
A nameless shirtless man. He's quite
on a
buff,
vintage
isn't he?
bike. I think it came out good. It's got the nice vintage feel.
Yeah, it does.
I know.
Great color.
So thank
Yeah,
you
I
for
love
everyone
the
for
color.
being patient, waiting. The shirts were delayed. They kept delaying them. They were supposed to be shipped before I went to Peru,
right.
but they're here. So I'm going to be starting to ship them out. Jim, are those your glasses on the floor?
No.
I wonder whose glasses those are. Uh-oh. Somebody's missing
They're
some.
highly prescriptionized.
They're prescription glasses.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so the shirts are coming. Our rally is coming up in a few days.
Yes.
Yeah, we are all going to be there.
Schedule is out.
Oh my God!
Somebody is really missing their glasses.
I wasn't here last week. I bet they're from last week.
Probably.
Whoa.
Yes, I know.
No. So, yeah, we're going to be at the rally. So next week, you're going to come back. Raymond, if you want to come back. After the rally, come here. We're going to record Sunday night.
Oh, sure.
Rally
I
recap.
thought we're going to do it there.
No, we're not recording there. We're going to come
Okay.
back and
All
do a
right.
recap here.
Sounds good.
And I'll actually be leaving Sunday morning to come back to run the garage.
Okay, I may join you.
No, you have to stay, and
Well, all right then.
you need to be the hostess.
All right then.
Another quick announcement for our good friend Craig Zilla. Do you want to read the announcement?
Oh, absolutely.
He does this every year. Remember when we're at the races?
Okay.
They're doing the classes at Laguna Seca.
Okay.
This is the year
Pay attention, everyone. Pacific Motorcycle Training presents The Endless Summer at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, July 17th to the 21st, 2024. Basic course, July 17th and 18th, 2024. Intermediate Riding Clinic, July 19th. Advanced Riding Clinic, July 20th and 21st. The licensing class is approved by the California Motorcyclist Safety Program. You can find out all about this from Pacific Motorcycle Training. It's a very, very good scene. PMT are our local training people. And Craig's a good egg. He's been on this show many, many times. And they really set up camp at Laguna Seca, and I still believe that with the advanced class, maybe even with the intermediate one, you can do a lap of Laguna Seca, so it's worth it just for that. But you know,
which, by the way, who settled the lawsuit? Laguna Seca is not going away.
right?
Oh, well, good to know.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you really want to brush up on your skills, and as a rider who's been out there for, 46 years this year, I learn something new every day. Mm-hmm. So everyone can use a little bit of training. Sign up for it. They're great.
And then also, Jim, are you coming to the Quail with us?
I think so. May 5th. What's the date?
Yeah, May 4th. Saturday, May 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
May 4th
I think
be with
so.
you?
Yeah.
The Quail.
I think I'm around.
Emma, are you going to be mixing drinks?
Oh, yeah. As always, the Mototown / Law Tigers, rawr, they're great. 10 will be at the Quail, and once again, I will be doing gin and tonics for... would you like to know the secret password?
I would like to, and I promise not to tell anyone, but you can say it.
Okay. The secret password is, can I have a gin and tonic, please? And I will make you one, fresh, which will include...
Tonic.
Gin, tonic, and ice, and a slice of lemon grown in my own garden.
To chase off the scurvy.
Yes.
Emma, will you be doing the foot bathing station again?
No, that did not go... did not go well last year.
As we like to call shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, shrimp cocktail. You mean the foot fetish station?
Unless you happen to be
was there
Asian and your shoe size is 5 or less, then you're welcome to come by for a foot bath at Emma's tent.
Yes, exactly. Very compact, you see. But no, just stop by the tent, say hello. Say, hello, can I have a gin and tonic,
Are
please?
you going to park some bikes?
Yes.
What bikes are you going to bring?
Oh, I haven't decided yet.
Do you want to borrow the Amigo?
No.
There was a very shiny and clean BSA at Mototown.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
The Gold Star, probably, what I will take out to the Quail this year is I will take out that blue Triumph I just built, and I will almost certainly revisit. Do you remember that gorgeous drum brake Suzuki 550 I had out there a few years ago, the gold one.
Yep.
I always think that's worth revisiting because it is such a lovely bike.
Mm-hmm.
I like original paint
Where's
bikes.
that bike now?
So it's at the owner's house.
Oh, okay.
But I restored it, so it's an open invitation
Mm-hmm.
to take it back anytime. So I think I may take that one back.
Oh, cool.
I'll come up with something. I always like to have something a little bit quirky that doesn't really fit into any categories, that gives people something to look at. But that Triumph that I built, the blue one, I'm very, very proud of that bike. So the owner knows that I may be banging on his door and saying, "Can I have the Triumph for the Quail?" So he knows.
Yeah. The metalwork on that is...
Oh, it's absolutely... And I can't take credit for that, but... Yeah, it's a superb machine.
So Quail.
That bike's really a testament to all my friends.
Mm-hmm. Do we know what the theme is this year?
Oh, I don't remember.
Motorbikes.
Oh, that's a great idea.
No. I'm sure I could look it up, but yeah, it's such a great event. It's really like no other. I mean, it's a concours d'elegance, but everyone and everything is approachable. Something like Jim and I love. We can just walk up to anyone, and it doesn't matter, how rich you are. Everyone just wants to talk about bikes, and you get all kinds there. But what a lovely event! So also free ice cream.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was last year. That was great. Was it Marini's? Who was it? It wasn't Mary Ann's.
Yeah, Mary Ann's ice cream.
Oh, my God. That was crazy.
Know. Hey, I wanted to share some news with you guys and get your opinion. Mm-hmm. There was a lawsuit. This came out of Florida. And this stemmed from in 2013. This man was riding his 2007, so 5-year-old, GSXR 1000 when the front brakes failed when he went to stop, and he crashed into a vehicle in front of him and had quite a bad accident and was paralyzed as a result.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting, I just question, like, on a 5-year-old bike,
Oh, I know. I remember that recall.
That answered the question,
on a
didn't it?
5-year-old bike, how much of the maintenance are you responsible for, and how much is the manufacturer responsible for?
Well, funnily enough,
and I haven't told you how this ruled.
so I remember that recall on the bikes, and it's still ongoing.
So do you want me to, the description?
Yes.
So his attorney presented that the front brakes failed because of corrosion of the brake piston of the front brake master cylinder, which ultimately caused a reduction of fluid pressure transmission and reduced the motorcycle's braking power.
Right. So what that was based on was a certain year of Suzuki had Nissin front brake master cylinders, and they were positioned in such a way that moisture gathered around the piston and the piston got puckered. And you basically, even now, you can take a GSX into a Suzuki dealer and generally get a new master cylinder if it hasn't been done already. Most of them have been done by now. But I mean, in the time I was at Peninsula Power Sports, which was probably 5 years, I probably did a couple of hundred of them.
Yeah.
Well, we had just boxes and boxes of master cylinders. So I remember that going down. And don't forget, all of that happened after the accident. So a lot of it was reaction from Suzuki based on that.
Yeah.
Well, back to your original question,
Yeah.
and it's also years versus miles. 7 years with 5,000 miles or 7 years with 70,000 miles. Right?
Do you want to know what the ruling was?
Yeah, go on.
He won
Yes.
$20 million
Yes.
from Suzuki.
Yes.
I just find this interesting, but the other information they said is that there was a person before him who had the same problem who crashed. So they were aware of the issue, but failed to issue the recall until 4 months after his crash.
Right.
So, but there had been another crash in 2012. But again, to me, it's kind of interesting. Like on a corrosion on a brake master cylinder, I mean,
Well,
what is that going to be caused by?
Well, guess what? How many times have we talked about the hygroscopic properties of brake fluid?
Yeah.
Duh. There you are. Funnily enough, Honda had exactly the same recall on their Gold Wings with the rear brake master cylinder.
So is it the metal in the piston itself? Is it the seals? Is it
It's a bit of everything.
a little of all of it? Okay.
Yeah, it's a little of all of it, and it's a lot of it is a design that it can hold moisture, and if it can hold moisture, because remember, especially in warm climates, any time that you have a volume of air and a volume of liquid, that space between where the air is subject to moisture, so if you've got, we've got a catalogue of events going on here. We have the placement of the master cylinder reservoir itself, and in the recall they changed that. They changed the placement. All the kits came with a little bracket to relocate the reservoir. So you have a reservoir that may, in a high sunlight situation like Florida, produce moisture. When that moisture is produced, it's sucked up into the brake fluid because it's hygroscopic, and then it goes straight into the nearest ferrous piece, which is the piston.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, steel...
So will it create pitting and that
Yes.
kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the fluid can get beyond it. Now, steel, which is what the piston's made out of, and aluminium behave in very different ways when they get oxidized. Steel reduces itself in size, whereas aluminium swells. So it's just as... but usually aluminium, certainly in a master cylinder, has usually got an anodized coating, which really helps with that. The piston, I think the whole basis of the suit was the piston, the coating on the piston, the plating on the piston, or the finish on the piston wasn't sufficient. So it was a design finish on the piston. But yeah, I remember that recall going down, and it's still ongoing, as most recalls are. I mean, there are still Gold Wings getting rear master cylinders being put on them. There's still Gixxers getting front master cylinders put on them. There is still, I want to say, I think it's Hayabusas that are getting, there's like a girdle that you epoxy underneath the front of the frame because they were cracking headstocks. No, it's Gixxer 1000s. That's still ongoing. Regulator rectifiers. All big Suzukis have got terrible regulator rectifiers, and so that's ongoing. See, these things aren't actually necessarily driven by the manufacturers themselves. They're driven by NHTSA, the North, Safety and whatever. I forget what it's called. But they're the ones who actually issue the recalls, sometimes under advisement from the manufacturer, sometimes in direct conflict for the manufacturer. But once NHTSA issues a recall, you need to get it done. It's done. And strictly speaking, you can't sell a bike. Let's say you buy a new bike and NHTSA issues a recall for it for whatever reason. If you sell that bike without having the recall done, theoretically, even as a private owner, you could be liable if the next owner wraps him or herself around a lamppost on it. So you need to get this stuff done.
So what do you think? 20 million sounds fair?
I don't know. I mean, if you're paralyzed,
exactly.
I think that sounds quite cheap, actually. I mean, your life's ruined, isn't it, if you're paralyzed? Can you imagine boffing along on your Gixxer one day and the next day you're paralyzed? I'm not,
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting when I saw that come up in the news. Like, that's a big slap. You hear about these recalls all the time, and then you're like, oh, okay. It's usually comes from when it's going to cost them money. More money to, less money to fix it than it is to pay for the
But,
lawsuit.
we go back to the whole the whole Ford Pinto thing. And and people have forgotten it was a numbers game because Ford knew just to bring you all up to speed, back in the early 1970s, Ford introduced a little compact car called the Pinto, and it had a problem with the placement of the fuel tank.
Except for
That when you hit it hard up the sack, when you got rear-ended, the fuel tank would ignite, and there was a fix. And the fix cost that much. Now, Ford knew there was a problem and knew what the fix would cost, but they ran a numbers game of how many cars were likely to be totaled, how many cars were likely to survive the crash,
bursting
and sue
into
them,
flames. Yeah.
and bursting in flames. And they just figured out it was cheaper to ignore it and allow the cars to erupt into flames than to do the fix. And it was a big scandal, of course, because it's putting a dollar value on human life. But this is the way corporations work. You know, I don't know. I've worked on and off for Suzuki over the years. I don't see them being like that. I think with Suzuki, it was almost kind of a loss of face thing. It's like, how can a product have a problem? I'm sure it was a maintenance problem. But then, of course, you know, when the second one happens, you're like, oh, God, we need to do something about this. So, yeah, we'll see.
So, Emma, you weren't here last week to hear my my story of Peru. But there was something I didn't share with everyone else I thought I would share. You know, motorcycles catch my eye. I was taking pictures of every little 125cc, just constantly turning my head. But you know what caught my eye? And Jim, you would appreciate this. In Peru, there were a lot of female motorcycle police officers. Good looking ones.
Oh,
too.
wow.
They do look fit even from over here.
That's with Tommy Lee. Good, I look at the bike and I'm like, oh, when you see a really good looking woman riding on a motorcycle, and I just thought, dang, that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But it's always interesting to see
what do they ride over there?
Exactly. It's always interesting to see what the police are riding in countries like that. Emma, are you falling apart over there? What's happening? Things are falling off.
I just lost my headphones, so let me see.
I pulled a bunch of oyster mushrooms.
No,
I
need spare headphones.
Oh, try plugging it in down there. It probably came unplugged. But something I always found that's interesting when I travel is to see what they ride in those countries. And in Peru, a lot of bikes, what we're seeing is whatever they were able to impound. You know, that they'll just paint it, put lights on it.
Okay,
they're all different bikes. But usually a lot smaller bikes. Raymond, what do they ride in Beirut?
Oh, probably old Harleys, I would think.
Really?
There weren't a lot of motorcycle cops. You know, that wasn't a thing. And then there was, I vaguely remember that there were older looking bikes. Well, now I don't know. No, it's probably different now.
But you travel a lot. You know what I mean? It's completely different around the world, and kind of fascinating to see. And Emma, we were talking in the garage earlier today about police bikes.
We were. And, as you know, while you were away, I was hosting the show. Did you enjoy my shows, by the way?
Wendy and I listened to the first one.
Yes. In
our room, and I was shouting when John's like, any emails? And nope. And I'm like, I sent them to Emma and Bagel. I already lambasted Bagel about that.
Yes.
But you guys got it together.
Yeah.
The next week it was better. It was a little bit huh?
So I just switched out my headphones. Can you just turn me down a little bit on my... Yeah. There you go. Thank you. That's perfect. Yeah, and we were talking in the garage, and while you were away, I wasn't sure how we were going to fill the time. And, of course, inevitably, we always manage to talk about something about nothing. So I prepared a little bit of a history hole, and I haven't done a history hole for a long time. It's very deep and dark, and it's quite damp.
You look like you're ready to dust it off.
Well, there's the doors opening.
Ray, you might need an N95. Be careful.
But I actually prepared a very, very brief history hole on police motorcycles. And I thought we could expand that a little bit more and turn it into a bit of a discussion.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about in the garage, and this is exactly how the podcast came about. And what was fun is there were some listeners who were there, just kind of watching our conversation. I'm like, so Emma, what do you want to talk about? And she's like, police bikes. I'm like, can we expand that, like working bikes? And then suddenly everyone started chiming in, and It was this whole conversation. I was like, hold on, we got to save it for tonight. Mm-hmm. But that's how organic the conversations are in the garage. So I thought, let's talk about working bikes.
Well,
but start with police, because I would say
the police
probably the most common working bike globally, right?
Well, the police have always had a relationship with motorcycles, and they've always been an irresistible form of transport for the police for a number of reasons. They're quick, they can get into very, very tight spaces, and if you are in a cash-strapped district, it's far easier and cheaper.
If you've seen any James Bond movie,
right,
you know that's the only thing that can get through those tiny alleys.
Right, exactly. And that's what the police use these things for, or in the early days. They really had to decide. But when we look back at history, and it doesn't just apply to the police, it doesn't just apply to motorcycles, it applies to a lot of things, you'll find a specific period in time. And there's this great advancement worldwide and this great taking up of an idea. You know, if we talk about the first in flight, the Wright brothers, mm-hmm. and we know Orville and Wilbur Wright were the first ones to fly, but what a lot of people don't realize, it was a race against time.
I was just going to say, if it wasn't them, it was someone else like right behind them.
It was there.
Everybody was right
there. Everyone was right there. And America may not have been the first in flight. It may have been Italy, it may have been England, it may have been France. They were all right there. And Wilbur and Orville were just the first to actually get their machine off the ground. But it was a matter of weeks, so it was that period in time. So the police forces, I'm going to deal with England and America, and then we'll deal with the continent and Europe in a slightly congenital way. It all seemed to happen sort of in the 1908 to 1911 range, when everybody was taking them up. And we actually, for the very, very first police force ever to use a motorcycle, was actually in Detroit in 1908.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were the very, very first. Closely followed.
I wonder what the big crime was in 1908 in Chicago. Is that where you were? Wait, where were they first used?
Detroit.
Oh, in Detroit. I wonder what the big crime was. Horse thievery?
Well, you mean...
Just such a fascinating time. Beginning of the Industrial Revolution.
Right.
Things are kicking into gear. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
But I mean, I suspect that a lot of exactly the same crimes that we see now. Prostitution, drugs, booze, you name it, mm-hmm. you know, extortion. All the things that people do now, they did back then. Yeah. I mean, these aren't new crimes.
True.
But 1908 was Detroit. 1908 also Evanston, Illinois, and they were running Hendersons. The Detroit force were using Indians. Haven't mentioned Harley Davidsons yet, have I? 1909, Portland, Oregon. An officer called Merle Sims decided to use his own Indian as a police vehicle.
So that was the first one?
No.
Okay.
It was the first motorized vehicle on the West Coast to be used for police work. Oh, wow. How about that?
Before cars even.
But yeah, for police, dedicated police work.
Ooh, just quick factoid. I was just looking on the Google, and in that era, 1908, that's back when you had the 5 Points gang back in New York City.
Oh.
So it's kind of that era of first-generation immigrants and all that crazy shit. So
Well, you see, the thing is, America, or modern America, the America that we know, was built up from people from all over the world.
like these are like the original kind of gang thing.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And when you go to a big town like Detroit, like New York City, LA back then was nothing like it is now, but we're talking about on the East Coast. The big cities, they were populated. You'd have an Italian quarter, you'd have a German quarter, the Jewish quarter, and I mean, the communities kind of kept themselves, but they brought the domestic crime and the style of crime with them. And police bikes, you could get there quick, and you could get there through the alleys, as per James Bond films. However, here's an interesting fact. 1911, Berkeley, California.
Hey, that's right up here.
Right. And the thing that's interesting about
Like
Berkeley,
breeding horses
California...
and stuff back then in that
Well,
area.
we're going to
Yeah.
come to that.
Yeah.
They were the first custom motorcycle division. They had Harley Davidsons and Indians, and it was the thing that was important about that. It was the first division of a police force that was custom trained for motorcycle duty, and they had their own uniform, which surprisingly enough, or unsurprisingly enough, was based on the horseback riding
Yeah, okay.
uniform.
Sudfors.
With the
Yeah.
the breeches and all that.
And that is why when you see motor officers now in America, oftentimes they look like they're going to ride a horse, because that's what the uniform is built on.
Or fly the sup with camel.
Right, exactly. Oh, go shut him down. Yes, he was flying a Fokker triplane, and I shot him out of the sky.
Just to add to that,
Yes,
the UC Berkeley
yes,
was founded in 1868. So
right. There you go.
that it was already a big hub then.
But the early motorcycle duties were based on what the horse-drawn officers would be doing.
You think male or something.
Well, no, I mean it's horse-mounted officers were used for crowd control. They were used for chasing down criminals. They were used for a lot of inner city stuff. But of course, around this time, the inner cities themselves were moving away from horses and moving on to motorized vehicles. As hard as it is to believe, I mean, the streets were filthy when they had horses, because the horses were crapping everywhere, and just huge amounts of it. A lot of the horses were old and malnourished. I mean, you see pictures from back in the day, dead horses in the street just rotting away, and kids playing in horse carcasses. So, I mean, that's not really sustainable. So the duties of the motorcycle officers really mirrored that of the horse-drawn officers. The 1920s really saw this growth in motor officers in America, because right around that time, cars were really taking off. And it just so happened that everyone says, oh, yes, but it's Model T Ford, and, they're not very fast. And that's largely true. But the criminal element weren't interested in Model T Ford. They were interested in V8 Lincolns and Cadillacs and the fast cars. And so the police needed equally fast cars or fast motorcycles to keep up with the criminal element. And again, in the cities, everything here is city-based. High-speed motorcycles, it's when the Indian and the Henderson fours really got a toehold, and Harley-Davidson were really refining their game, and motorcycles were used for high-speed pursuit, basically chasing down criminals. But now we're going to get into traffic enforcement.
You know, it goes back to what you were saying. You really can see it go from horses to the motorcycle. It really was actually a small step.
Yeah.
It's a very, very small step. And the living legacy is in the uniform. Mm-hmm. You know, it's different in England. England's had a different path. And we're going to talk about England in a minute. But in America, if you see a dedicated motor officer's uniform, it's basically a horse riding. It's jodhpurs, it's horse riding boots. Everything about it says, I ride a horse. But he's not, he's riding a bike.
True, yeah.
And in fact, it's not, there's not one piece they're wearing that looks like motorcycle gear, protection wise. Mm-hmm. And I've always wondered, those boots, how good are they for the ankle support?
Who knows?
They polish up nice, though.
Those pants, how good are they? Are those Kevlar tights?
No, I see cops a bunch on bikes. They don't wear. A lot of times you see them with short sleeves.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to mention short sleeves, and I've been away from England for a long time. I seem to remember on the blazing hot sunny days, you'd see motorcycle officers wearing shirt sleeves, but I'm not sure. I seem to.
I've asked cops that, and they say it's because they're wearing the armor and it gets so hot.
The vest is hot.
But there's
still,
vented jackets. To me, it's just kind of fascinating that motorcycle police officers are not wearing...
Typically not wearing protective jackets.
Unless
it's cold out.
Open face helmets, too.
And open-face halfy helmets.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and the other thing about motorcycle cops that's in particular is typically, like you mentioned, even back in the day, if you see them out on the road, they're typically doing enforcement. They're not there to make sure you have a nice day. They're going to give you a speeding ticket.
They're not dressing for the crash either. They're dressing for the job and dressing for really the ride and the comfort and the ease.
Right.
Not for the crash.
Anyway, but if you see a motorcycle cop out, they are looking to enforce. That's
here's a question.
What they're doing.
Have you ever waved at a motorcycle cop on your bike and they wave back?
No, they don't wave back.
They wave back to me.
Really? Not me.
I wave to them, yeah.
I wave
a lot of them
all
don't.
Time.
It's
a tough gig.
exciting when you get the wave back.
No, I've got it before.
Yeah, and I mean, it depends. It really depends on the officer, and it really depends on how the officer identifies himself. Because a lot of those guys identify themselves as motorcyclists first and foremost, and cops second. And some just, it's a cop, and I got to use this tool, and it's a bike. But now we're going to get into the actual parking enforcement. Now, one of your favorite vehicles, Liza.
There's one in here. There.
Cervicar.
Wow.
Above the Hunza plate.
Yeah.
First year for the Cervicar, 1931.
Now, why is it called a Cervicar?
Because it's for service and it's got two wheels at the back.
It's basically the 3-wheel Harley trike.
Ah, got it. Oh, the ice cream.
But it's got the ice
wagon,
cream thing or the meter maid thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and funnily enough, they had them in England as well, the Pashley Pelicans. Yeah, Pashley Pelican was the kind of like the British version of it. It's nowhere near as widespread. But I mean, it's a very American thing. Used for parking enforcement, used for... A good thing for riding around the city. San Francisco PD had Cervicars for a long, long time. Because, of course, you got a big utility box. And you could fill that with all kinds of crap.
Or ice cream.
Or
suspect, yeah.
But a low-speed vehicle, so no good for highway patrol. And then when we look at the types of motorcycles that police use, you can really divide them up into the city bikes. And, there are some police divisions that use smaller capacity bikes for in town, but it's BMWs and Harleys now.
Yeah, the RTs are big, right?
Yeah, RTs are big and Harleys are big.
Although
we
have seen the dirt bikes in Golden Gate Park.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got specialty, and then, they're still using trikes for traffic endorsement. I think 500 base trikes now. But then the highway patrol uses very, very high speed bikes. Kawasaki concourses are quite popular.
They stopped. I was reading up. There was a lawsuit.
They were catching fire.
There was a cop who blamed his crash on the concourse, and they basically stopped using them.
Right. Funnily enough, the highway patrol in Monterey, still use concourses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The guy I work with rides a modern concourse. He loves it.
Yeah,
he loves that bike.
Well, the trouble is that the ones that are made for the police, they have a lot of electrical equipment on them.
A lot.
So can we talk about what qualifies? What makes a police bike?
Yeah, I mean, it's there's
a cop on it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And blue lights.
if we go back to the early days, because remember, this is a history hole. Basically, a police bike was a motorcycle with a policeman on it, and that was that. There wasn't even a police color. I mean, you'd see Detroit police riding red Indians because that was the color of an Indian. You know, police bikes weren't black or white or blue. It was just whatever color the manufacturer made them in.
Somewhere in here, there's a bunch of models of different police bikes. Oh, might be behind me.
Yeah, up there's 2 Harleys above you.
Oh, yeah,
Well-
and there's a bunch of Beamers. Yeah.
Well, let's get down to brass tacks. What is the one thing that we kind of take for granted on our bikes that a police bike will never have to worry about?
Well, and more specifically, they usually have the designation of a P model, so that lets you know there is something different.
Yes,
with
yeah.
this.
All the Japanese manufacturers do a P version of usually their larger capacity bikes. But how many people can you get on your bikes?
2.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the
Depends
one
what country you're on?
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Could
the
be
one
5, 6.
thing the police do not have to worry about. They're never going to be taking a passenger. So now, generally, let's start with the seat. A police bike is a solo seat. That frees up a lot of real estate for the back. So what's the kind of equipment the police is going to need?
Radios.
Radio.
There's number one. First aid kit, perhaps?
I've seen them set up with an AR.
Right.
Flares.
baton.
Weapon.
The
a
baton.
gun.
Yeah, gun. And access to it. Certainly here in America. And it's very, very easy on a lot of these bikes because they have crash bars. So you can just have a holster for your shotgun. Obviously, your sidearm you're carrying about your person, but you can have your shotgun actually right there on the crash bar of the bike.
That would be pretty badass. I've not seen that. I've seen an AR on the back of an RT, but I've not seen a shotgun on the crash bar.
Right.
But I'm going to Montana this summer, so I'll look
You'll
forward
see
to
it.
that, yeah.
And, the number one thing, of course, is the differing electrical equipment. And what people don't realize about the way police bikes work.
So is it a different harness?
Yes.
What about the stator itself, stator and rotor? I mean,
super heavy
is it
duty.
stock or is it
No.
is that the P? Police edition is basically you have this massive electrical power plant.
And the way the police equipment works is you have I call it an escalation switch, which is really what it is. It's when the escalation switch is off, your lights are off. And then you turn it to 1, and then some lights come on. Then you turn it to 2, and now you've got lights and a siren. You turn it to 3, now more lights come on.
Lasers.
And you turn it to 4, and the bike is just screaming and yelling.
Everything's
And
lighting
every
up,
light.
like, yeah.
And the idea is you pull over somebody with the minimum amount.
That's great though, because you're not flipping a light switch or this switch.
No,
it's
you
all
just-
like you said, it ramps
On
up.
that subject, it was quite funny. I was riding here today, and I got into Santa Cruz, and I was riding up.
A bit damp.
Yes, and this is a police encounter, and you'll actually enjoy this.
She's
very
less
much.
likely to have her crotch on fire, so it's a good thing.
True,
Yes,
true.
exactly. And it was, the very damp pavement. The way I judge it, when you see a vehicle ahead of you, and you can see spray off the tires. That's wet pavement, and it's wet pavement. And I'm going up Mission Street, and Mission Street's like 45 mile an hour limit. And it goes to 25 miles an hour very, very quickly at the top. And so I'm going to go straight ahead. So I'm in the far left lane, and I'm doing 45 miles an hour. I'll tell you why I'm doing 45 miles an hour in a minute. And I see the 25 mile an hour sign, so I slow it right down. I go past that sign doing about 30. And meanwhile, there's some stupid shit kid in a little Audi station wagon right up my rump. And he didn't like it when I slowed down, so he went whoosh around me and got very, very close to me. What he didn't realise, because he hadn't seen it, but I had, there was a police car 2 cars back.
Oh, perfect.
Highway patrol. And the moment they crossed Mission Street, whoop, whoop, pulled him over.
God.
And the kid had his window open, and I couldn't help myself. As I pulled past him, I went, "You're an asshole."
Oh, perfect.
He knew.
So there was some poetic justice.
You know,
Never happens to me.
Yeah.
but
so
the thing
rare.
is, I had seen the highway patrol car.
Yeah.
And obviously he hadn't,
Mm-hmm.
because he wasn't paying
Probably
attention.
looking at his phone.
Young and dumb.
Whatever.
Well, I'm glad you're safe.
But anyway, yeah, I'm glad I'm safe too. But it's the escalation switch. Anyway, no, we got a bit off topic because we're
on that note,
So-
I do have to run. I hate to go midstream, but I have to take off. Things are awaiting. So, Ray, always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, same here.
And Liza, welcome home. Been a while
Thanks.
since I've seen you.
I'll give
All
you a
right.
call this week.
Have your people come. My people will load up the trailer.
All right. You
I
got
hope
your
know
pipe?
I burned a hole in my shoe making trophies today. I'm very
Right.
happy about that.
Thank you so much. All right. See you, Jim.
So,
So when are they manufactured in a separate process, or
Oh,
are
yeah.
they modified after they come out the assembly
no,
line?
they are, in a lot of cases, the police bikes have a different frame.
And I was going to ask this. I think this goes into what you're saying. It seems like in choosing what bike that police departments choose, it's based upon what is being offered, because not all companies are offering a police version. Right.
Exactly. And things have changed a great deal. If we could go back to the 1970s, and we've already discussed many times how I'd like to go back there and visit for a while, maybe the rest of my life.
Hey, Emma, 1972 called it, wants its hairstyle back.
Oh, thank you, darling. I'll never give it back, you know. Police bikes tended to be a great source of national pride. America was almost exclusively using Harley Davidsons. Now they still use Harley Davidsons, and I'll go into some of the reasons for and against them. You'd go to England, Triumph Saints, Norton Interpols, or as we call them, Interplods. Germany, of course, BMWs. Even Spain had Sandglass, which was really a dedicated police bike. You could buy a Sandglass off the production line, but you really wouldn't want to. I mean, it's quite an agricultural, but it was a great police bike. It really fitted the bill for what Spanish want. And, of course, Italy, you know, Moto Guzzi's have always been a favourite of Italian police forces. So they were a source of really great national pride. Now, you're really getting down to, yes, a lot of the Japanese manufacturers still offer a police version of the bike, but nowhere near all of them. Certainly not for the American market. Here in America, you've got a choice of, really, you're down to BMW or Harley Davidson, and maybe a concourse. ST 1300s. Again, you know, as good a bikes as these are, the most common by far is BMW. And I think that really speaks to how much R&D BMW have put into this process.
And I think, and I've owned an R1100 RT, and I mean, considering it was a big bike that could really cruise on the freeway, do high speeds, it was also quite nimble. But something I've never quite understood is why the Harleys that seem a bit unwieldy, and especially when you see them doing the Gymkhana.
Yep.
Like, why are they using the biggest unwieldy bike?
Well, a lot of that's technique. So if you remember when we went up to that show by the bay, and the police forces were doing their Gymkhana, I was like, this is great. How do you do that? It's all clutch and rear brake. So it's a learned task. And it's a lot easier if you're on somebody else's bike, because if you drop it, you know, it's like a big deal. And I looked, and almost every single one of those bikes had gouged up crash bars where they'd been dropped, you know, so. But it's a learned technique. So if you're a police force and you're choosing a bike, and we'll just narrow it down, BMW or Harley Davidson. The Harley is actually more expensive than the BMW, as surprising as that may be. However, the BMW the maintenance costs can escalate beyond the Harley. The reliability supposedly is a lot better, but when they break quite spectacularly. But the real appeal of a Harley Davidson for police forces, if you replace your bikes every couple of years, the Harleys have got a very high resale value. And that's quite tempting for a smaller district who really, if they want to replace their bikes every couple of years, that they really can't lose too much money on the trade-in.
So you talked about the electrical, the lighting. Brakes are different? Brake system?
Generally not. When you start modifying braking systems on a bike, if you want to go back to the Moto Guzzi linked braking system. So Moto Guzzi were really the first to introduce the linked braking system, and that's when you tromp on the rear pedal, you get 100% at the rear brake, and then it goes through a proportioning valve to the left-hand front rotor, and then the right-hand front rotor is controlled by the hand. That was done in answer to a request from the police. But in terms of are the brakes different? Not really.
Okay.
What about the engine?
Oftentimes the engine, it's the big joke. We've all watched the Blues Brothers, and they're describing their car, and it's got cop shocks and a cop engine, and it runs good because it's got no catalytic converter, so you can run it on regular leaded gas. And a lot of police forces would hop up their engines for a very specific job for high-speed pursuit. But generally, the number one thing that any government agency is interested in is longevity and bang for your buck. And that basically means keeping them stock.
No, put that down.
Oh.
Yep, there you go.
All right, cheers, Dan.
That's why I waved you off.
Oh, I thought you were waving for me to give it to Raymond.
No, I was waving you off.
Anyway, so, they're modified in terms of what they are used for, but there's no real, I don't want anyone out there thinking, well, my BMW makes 120 horsepower and the police one makes 150. That is not true. The police one makes the same amount as yours. So, there's a good chance he may catch you, there's a good chance he may not.
So, would you recommend somebody buying a P bike? I see them come up for sale every now and then.
They are tempting. I don't know. To me, it's kind of a hard sell because it's such a crapshoot. If you buy them from a district that are known for maintaining their bikes well, it potentially could be a bargain. On the other side of the coin, if you buy it from an agency where they contract out their repair to the local shop, and a lot of shops really don't give a crap about the police bikes. They give if they've got a contract to repair the police bikes, they do the absolute minimum to get them in and get them out. It might not be a bet. I'd buy a police bike, but really based on, I'd have to evaluate it based on the actual bike itself rather than, just because it's a police bike, I'm going to buy it.
And they're probably going to have high miles.
Oh, yeah, they've all got high miles on them.
Bagel?
Yes.
Do you think that police scooters are more effective?
Police scooters are bazookas.
Depends on what you're using them for. For high-speed chases, probably not. But for patrolling like Golden Gate Park, I'm sure they'd work very well, like they did for, well, maybe not if you ask the officers in San Francisco, but they did use them in San Francisco for many years, including the one that I own.
Yeah. So, and is that what their bike of choice is in Italy?
Well, these days I'm not so sure. They're probably using big wheeled scooters, to be honest.
Again,
If
I'm
they're
just
using-
referring to James Bond movies as my historical facts.
Yeah, I mean, there probably is quite a mix over there, I'm sure.
So, would you buy a police scooter?
Well, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, my 1974 Sprint is a San Francisco police bike.
Oh,
Yeah, it was originally owned by the San Francisco Police Department, and that's in the process of rebuilding the engine right now, as a matter of fact.
so and yeah, I'm looking at because I have all these models around here. I see one up there, and I see the blue and white police scooter.
Oh, yes, I'm looking at it too.
Is it an ADV 150?
I think it might be.
I think which seems like a really good
It could be,
candidate for a police
Yeah.
scooter.
yeah, especially for like a beach town or something. That could be really useful.
Well, in fact, it brings me to a question I wanted to ask everyone.
Yeah.
So we've already established most common bikes, at least here in the States, are riding the bigger bikes. You got the BMWs touring bike, you got the Harleys, your Concourse, and in some places now the Zero DSR has they offer military and police versions. So those have been popping up, but not a whole lot of variety. What do you? I'd like to know from each of you. What do you think would be the ultimate police bike? What do you think should be introduced as a police bike? Raymond, what do you think?
I mean, obvious, the R1300 GS Adventure or 1250 GS.
Oh, you think that they should be on a GS instead
Yeah.
of an RT?
Yeah,
Why?
absolutely. Well, hopping, jumping curves and going on the sidewalk.
Running,
and-
jumping,
Yeah,
like
I mean-
action man stuff.
Do they jump curbs a lot?
You could, yeah. Yeah, of course.
I mean, Emma, what do you think? GS. Do you think that'd be a better choice than the RT?
I think so. And the added advantage with that is I think it'll have a higher resale value because GSs do tend to hold their value better than the RTs.
Yeah, you probably have more carrying capacity, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but
Yeah.
All right. Bagel, what do you think would be a better bike or scooter?
I think an Amigo would be perfect because what better bike could you have for community outreach?
An Amigo? Come on.
Yes. I mean, he's so approachable, right?
And also, they're going to be getting clown cars.
That would work too.
Really? You nominate an Amigo?
Wow.
I don't have the Amigo.
Just wow.
Yeah.
know.
So much. Yeah. All right, Emma. What do you think is a bike that should be a good police bike that people aren't using?
Stretch booster.
Oh God.
No! Stretch booster.
with neon lights.
With neon lights because you could stretch booster in white. I want you to imagine this. Stretch booster in white with blue neon lights underneath, chrome rims. And you could put like the flashing lights in the rims so they come on and on as they turn.
Yeah.
And then the police uniform. Do you remember the Village People?
Yes, of course. YMCA.
The uniform could be
Yes.
the policeman from the Village People with a mustache and everything.
The porn
It'd be
stash.
great.
Perfect for
You talk
LA.
about community policing right there. Why?
I don't think you're taking this seriously.
I am taking it very seriously.
I don't know
now
what makes
look,
you say
how
that.
dare you accuse me of not taking this? There is never a time when a stretch booster is inappropriate. And I would ask our listeners to come to my defense. I mean, I have just been accused of not taking this seriously. Stretch booster. It's better than Bagel's fucking Amigo.
That is
Well,
true.
maybe an Amigo that's been worked on by Emma. So it actually runs.
So, do you know what they're using in Dubai?
Stretch boosters.
No. A hover bike.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah, of
Oh,
course.
geez.
Because the police cars are like Lamborghinis and Ferraris.
It's like a giant drone hover bike. No,
Wow.
but seriously, no, Emma. All right, I'll tell you. I'm going to share mine, but then I want to hear what bike you really think would be
Right.
a good bike. So I was looking up like common bikes that have been used, and I was surprised to see the Africa Twin was on a list.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
And here's why. Roland Sands
Yes.
customized 2 Africa Twins as a gift for the Redondo Beach Police Department. Can you imagine a Roland Sands Africa Twin? And it came outfitted with crash bars, a PA system, radar gun mounts, a full LED lighting system, bulletproofing, and a locking AR-15
Bulletproofing.
mount. And then because of all the added weight, it also came with upgraded suspension to retain ride comfort and maneuverability.
Wow.
Does that not sound awesome? That I think it's cool that a bike builder
Right.
is customizing a bike for the police department. But honestly, I would think the Africa Twin is a big, heavy bike. Honestly, I think like a Tenere 700. When you're talking about something that's nimble, that can maneuver and get around, but is a big enough bike that you can put cases and lights and the additional gear on it, I think that the Tenere 700 is an amazing candidate for that.
I can tell you what I think was...
Except unless they have to have a top speed.
Right. But I can tell you what I think is a fine police bike. Never used really outside Hong Kong PD. And I've owned one.
What's that?
PC 800. And now it's a 30-year-old bike.
Yeah.
So we would need to upgrade it. But if you take the concept of the PC 800, you fuel inject it, you put decent forks, decent wheels on it, it's unbeatable. And I shall tell you why. All the weight's very low down. It's incredibly maneuverable. If you've never ridden a PC, you should. It looks like it's going to be really ungainly, but it's not. You can chuck them around.
It rides like it looks, like a marshmallow.
But you can chuck it around. It's a great high-speed bike, as Henry will tell you, as I came cruising past him at 125 on mine. It's got enormous carrying capacity. It's essentially, it could be updated into a perfect police bike. But it would need some serious updating because it means a friggin' 80s bike. But there's a serious answer for you.
Yeah, it is interesting, again, to see what they use around the world. And
Hong Kong PD loved theirs. Absolutely loved them.
Well, do you want to talk a little bit more about other working bikes?
Yeah, I mean, we could.
So here's a question I posed to you earlier to see if you could find the answer. What bikes or scooters were specifically designed for an industry, for a purpose?
Well, maybe the Postie bike?
The Postie bike. The Postie bike was a modification of an existing design, CT110. However,
it became its own thing.
it became its own thing. And I mean,
But that's a good example of a widely used Postie bike. What do you got, Bagel?
Another one is the Honda Gyro Delivery.
See, I said this in the garage earlier. Yeah, but Emma says no, that the gyro was not made for...
Not the original gyro,
but
they made a delivery version of the gyro that has the box on the back that specifically was for deliveries. That's the one that GP Pete bought at Mid-Ohio a couple years ago.
And he can carry like 20 pizzas in that.
Oh, he made bank doing that last year.
I know. Yeah, so Emma, what other bikes, like I think the Servicar was created for...
The Servicar was
service, right?
Yeah, the Servicar was created for city service,
So
beloved
what
by
else?
parking enforcement. Well, I mean, let's talk about the obvious one, the KLR 650 diesel,
Right.
which was designed for the U.S. Army, and it's a very singular purpose. Why on earth make a diesel bike? Why on earth take out an engine that's very understressed and quite reliable and put in something that's more complex and more... Well, I shall tell you, it's all about pool petrol. I mean, the Army runs on diesel. So, one fuel source. And that's pretty much it. But it was specifically made as an Army bike.
Can I bring up military scooters?
Yeah.
Of course you can, Bagel.
Because there is the well-known Vespa, or the Acma Vespa, which is the French Vespa subsidiary that produced the TAP 56 and TAP 59 military Vespa models for the French Army, which basically had a bazooka built into the bike.
See, I was right. I didn't know.
Wait, what?
I didn't know.
Yes.
Wait.
Oh my God.
Did Vespa make the bazooka?
Well, the French subsidiary put it all together. I don't know if they made the actual bazooka itself, but they assembled the whole machine with it.
Because I would think a Vespa bazooka is worth more than a Vespa military
Well, if you
bike.
could find one of these, yeah, it would be worth a lot of money these days. But I don't think a lot of them survived. They were basically sent to be put into the field to shoot off a couple of rounds and then pretty much abandoned. So.
They just explode.
Right. So while we're on the subject of military, let's talk about the Excelsior well bike. The Excelsior well bike. It was designed with one purpose: to be dropped from a parachute in a tube, and for a paratrooper to assemble and actually ride. The reality is they were woeful at their job because they had these tiny little wheels, and if you're riding across a rutted field, it'd be easier to actually walk. But it was a very, very single-purpose bike.
What about? Wasn't there a Piaggio or a Vespa that was made with a trike with?
The Vespa Ape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that in fact, I brought some pictures to show of a number of different configurations that they came in. They have like open cab, closed cab. They'll have a rickshaw back where you can have passengers sit inside. There's a box back where you can use like a van. They have like a what do you call it? One of those wagon style backs with just the fabric covering the hoops.
Fantastic.
It's a Woody.
A pickup back. Yeah, like all kinds of different variations that they came up with to use basically a scooter drivetrain that would then be used for deliveries and all kinds of other uses. They have a couple of different examples here, like cleaning services, city gardening services, newspaper deliveries. They had all kinds of uses for them back in the day.
I seem to remember in one of the Pink Panther films an Ape features quite Monsieur
that could be.
Floyd. He ends up in a swimming pool or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, and there also were Vespa three-wheelers that were a sidecar platform.
Now you see, now you've broached an interesting subject now, Bagel, because
I didn't think about that.
In the very early days, well, actually, I say in the early days, in the immediate post-war period in England, so we're talking like the 1950s, the Automobile Association and the Royal Automobile Club, the RAC and the AA, became very, very popular because cars weren't super reliable, and of course nobody had mobile phones back then, so you really needed these people, and you joined an automobile club, and if you broke down or something, you could walk to one of the phone boxes by the side of the road and call them, and they'd arrive on a custom-made BSA M21 with a sidecar on it, which contained theoretically the parts to get your car going. It maybe have a gallon of fuel or a fan bolt in it or some spark plugs, whatever. But they were custom made, and the RAC ones were blue, and the AA ones were yellow, and there was something of a fixture on British roads all through the 1950s, 60s. By the 1970s, they're mostly gone because cars were getting far more reliable back then. But it was, you talk about anybody who was on British roads, it was all about custom-made sidecars. And clearly Vespa did them too.
Yes. In fact, these ones that I'm showing right now are Vespa UK models that were sold for businesses to use. They had an aluminum box as the cargo box on the sidecar.
Surely you mean aluminium? They are for England,
yes.
The one at the bottom looks like a loaf of bread.
Exactly. It was custom built for a bakery.
Well, what a surprise.
And then there's another one you'll see here that has a trailer incorporated onto the sidecar rig. So it's trailering a scooter on the trailer behind this
you need that,
with a
Bagel.
sidecar with a box full of tools.
And that probably did about 10 miles an hour flat out.
In fact,
Yeah,
Emma,
something like that.
look at the model behind your head. That's military. See right there.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah,
you
what
got
about
there?
the Urals? I mean,
Yeah,
you know.
check-
Oh,
Yeah.
the urinals.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
now
see
you're talking.
that's a BMW or a Ural? I think that's with a sidecar and a trailer and a gun mounted on it.
It's a BMW R75 Panzerfaust.
Now, I guess what's the advantage of having a BMW, like a bike and a sidecar and a trailer, when you could just have like a Jeep and carry the same amount of stuff?
But can you carry a plow like a Vespa three-wheeler can?
Oh my gosh, a plow accessory. Oh my god. Well, yes, military bikes have been around, and there's a lot of history. I mean, we all know that was the demise of Indian, right?
Right. The Indian really had a disastrous Second World War.
Yeah.
And the army kept asking them for things that India weren't able to develop. And they came up with some incredibly good designs like V-twins with shaft drive, across the frame V-twins. The army said, no, thank you. And they kind of staggered on for about 8 years after the Second World War, but they were done.
Well, and we know that there's taxis around the world. Of course, we can't have nice things here.
No.
But honestly, have any of you ever ridden a motorcycle taxi? It looks frightening to me. Just putting on that helmet they hand you is the first thing.
Oh,
Right.
Jesus,
Frightening.
Yeah.
Well, funnily enough, motorcycle taxis really got a toehold in England, in London. Probably right around the millennium was that their most popular. I still think they use them now. And again, the weapon of choice was a PC-800. And it would have... it's almost like a waterproof bag you sit in. You zip it around your neck and put your helmet on over the top. And so your clothes stay completely dry. And very much favoured by members of the legal trade. So you'd have all these beautifully dressed attorneys going from court to court on the back of a motorcycle in all weathers. And very favoured form of transportation, which brings us to another, advantage of motorcycles. Certainly in a city like London, you can cut through traffic.
Well, not just that, you create less traffic.
Right, exactly.
It reduces congestion.
So let's talk about the paramedic bikes, the blood runners.
Oh,
Blood bikes.
Blood bikes. And basically, it's a one-person ambulance which has very similar equipment to a frontline paramedic van, just without the second person. So let's say you're in an inner city, you have a terrible car accident, your leg's hanging off. Well, the chances are first on the scene is going to be a guy on a motorcycle because he can cut through traffic.
And I want to clarify, there's blood bikes, and then there are first responder bikes.
Right, so we're
Two
talking
different
about
things.
the
So
first.
we're talking about first responders.
We're talking about the first responder bikes now. So the first responder bike, he's going to pull up, apply a tourniquet, get some drugs in you, and his only job is to stabilize you enough so that you will make it until the ambulance shows up.
They have a TV show based in UK
Right.
about these first responders because they can get there before anyone else can through the traffic.
Right, and they just keep the person alive till the meat wagon actually shows up. Now, the blood bikes are something else. Their job is to transport living tissue, organs, blood from
X-rays, spinal fluids,
anything
human milk,
that's
drugs,
time sensitive.
records,
Right.
samples.
And these aren't custom-made bikes, but they're custom-modified bikes. So oftentimes you'll find, a larger touring bike like an ST1300 with insulated saddlebags or an insulated top case so that you can put stuff that's on ice and it will keep it cold even on a hot summer day until you get to your destination.
Now, interesting fact about blood bikes. Did you know that they are volunteers?
Yes.
These are volunteers. They're charity organizations that people join and volunteer to run supplies for hospitals. Yeah. It's something that's pretty amazing. I've heard of. We don't have any that organized blood bikes here. I've heard of like bike clubs delivering breast milk, stuff like that, but nothing on this scale. But I think also it comes from the need because you just can't get cars through.
I'm speculating a little bit here, and I sincerely hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but I truly believe that in England, a lot of our English listeners, I hope, will confirm there is a huge amount of pride about the National Health Service, and anything that someone can do to help it. It's really it's a very noble and good thing.
Well, I also remember when I was last there and saying like, "Hey, can we go let's run over to Liverpool from Warrington." It's not very far, maybe like 20 miles. So I'm like, "Oh, so how long would it take to go 20 miles?" She's like, "It take like 2 hours." And I'm just like, "Oh, because there's not a freeway."
Right.
There's roundabouts and stoplights, and it just goes on and on and on. But the blood bikes are really, really cool. In fact, when we were doing the charity and giving money away, that was one of the things on our list was the blood bike. I've even seen people with probably one of the best fundraisers was to most worthy fundraisers, people raising money to buy a bike because it has to be a certain type of bike.
Yes.
Then you have to get it kitted out so that they could be a blood bike. There's another working bike on this list it came and went. It was fleeting, which makes so much sense, and I can't believe it's gone. But I actually snapped a picture of it once on the freeway. So you may not be aware, but AAA headquarters are actually up in like Walnut Creek or Concord.
Yeah.
Like in the Bay Area. And I once saw this yellow motorcycle come down the freeway. And what caught my eye was not just that it was all yellow, was that the rider was wearing a tow truck outfit with a little helmet on. And I realized it said AAA on the motorcycle. And this motorcycle was a CTX 700. Yeah, CTX 700. One of these things, which comes in a DCT, which makes sense, easy to operate, all yellow. And what they were trying out was for AAA, instead of sending out a big truck, if somebody just needed a jump or gas or something simple, they would send this motorcycle out. Also, when you have traffic, it can get through very easily for simple things. And I thought it was a good program.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But it didn't survive. They were just testing it out.
Silly.
I know, right? Seems to make sense. And then, of course, we haven't talked about delivery. I mean, delivery, it's always been around. It will always be around. But right now, we're going through this phase that we've talked about with all these electric bikes and scooters that are flooding the sidewalks and the bike lanes and everywhere. And there's so many pros and cons to having small bikes doing delivery, which makes sense, but then people riding these illegal things and riding them on sidewalks. So there's a lot of legislation that's going to be shutting a lot of that down or some of it down. Anyway, we'll see.
Now, I've saved one of the most impressive ones till last. Have any of you heard about these Goldwings that are vehicle recovery cars that can tow cars off the freeway?
What?
No.
So in England, they've got this Goldwing, and it's not a trike; it's a solo Goldwing, and then this cage kind of folds out of the back, and it looks like a giant pair of spectacles, and a car can put its front wheels in it. You can tow a car off the freeway, disable a car off the freeway.
Wow!
Yeah, they are in common use.
You know what? I don't know if this was, I think, before you came to the garage. I used to have the Recycle Garage tug and tow service.
Oh God!
It was
shrimping.
It was a strap. It was just a strap and my Trail 70.
Oh,
and when people were in close enough proximity, I would go tow them back because that Trail 70 could chug along in first gear and tow anything.
Because to me, Tug and toe sounds like Saturday night for a foot fetishist, right?
Could be.
Tug and
Why
toes.
not?
Tug and toe.
Something rhythm.
Oh, God.
I wanted to wrap this up, but I just wanted to put it out there because I'm sure there's others we haven't thought of yet.
Oh, yeah, there's a billion.
What do you got, Bagel? What do you got?
One
Yes.
more.
Oh,
Spy bikes.
Ooh.
The Vespa Alpha, which is featured in
What is that?
It's a Vespa that turns into a helicopter.
What?
This is from the movie, I think it was called Dick Smart from 1976 or something like that.
1967.
They developed a Vespa SS 180 that could actually fly as a helicopter.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's like a little ultralight, basically powered by a scooter motor
Dear
with
God.
the scooter frame and an aerodynamic kit on it. And in the movie, it also turns into a submarine, but I don't think that was the actual bike.
That's before the age of liability.
Another, these aren't specially made for the job, but search and rescue.
Oh, yes.
There are a lot of people who have bikes.
Yeah.
In fact, one of Jim's bikes got donated to my friend Lionel, who was doing search and rescue and needed a dirt bike.
Oh,
And
the KLX, yeah.
Yeah, it became service to that. So I'm just curious, what other working bikes did we miss? I mean, we talked briefly about the NASA bikes in the garage. We were saying like, well, they never really created it, but they were looking at it. They played with it. Technically, Evel Knievel's bikes were working bikes. Performance bikes. We didn't think about that.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
you can include performance bikes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. No. Seriously, the ones that are made for like the Wall of Death and the
sure.
Ball of
Yeah,
Death and all that, those are specially constructed.
Well, they're working bikes because these people
highly modified for
earn
them.
their living
Right.
doing that.
And that's the one purpose those bikes serve.
Absolutely.
That's all
You
they
better-
do.
Better believe it.
Yep.
So I want to find out from anyone else, what did we miss? What are other working bikes?
That's right.
Or let us know what you think is the perfect police bike. I think that there's, it has to be comfortable. And as I think about it more when I say in the Tenere, it seems like in many places, at least here in our country, I think it has to do like at least 120 miles per hour, right?
Right.
I mean, just from what I watch on Cops.
Yes. But, I think the ideal police bike will be exactly what we found. There's no such thing as the ideal bike. It's the ideal bikes. Everyone in this room has multiple bikes and they all scratch a different itch. So, I think Bagel is the one who's the closest, who's got the same bike multiplied over and over and over again. Just different versions of it.
Well, I can tell you what another working bike is.
Is what?
Well, our friend Ian sent an update on.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
How
on
are
the
they?
Superbike.
is
So
that
let's
still going
hear-
on?
They were in Foxborough, Massachusetts, where the 250 East category saw a familiar face atop the podium. It was Danger Boy Hayden Deegan who took the checkers, Cameron McAdoo who came in second, and the Frenchman Tom Vial who came in third. In the 450s, Jet Lawrence got a horrible start. After hitting Malcolm Stewart, he battled his way from 12th back to 5th. But it was Cooper Webb who caught the whole shot, going wire to wire and seeing the checkers. Chase Sexton came in second after a battle with Kickstart Ken Roxon, who came in third. Webb and Lawrence are now tied for the points lead. What will happen next? Tune in. This has been your Supercross 30 Seconds.
I just want to know if Ian is creating these nicknames.
No, he's not. These are real. He might be.
Well, I wanted to get to some emails. Emma,
Yes.
you've got a couple there. Now, Bagel,
Yeah.
you have a short one, you have a long one. But the
Yes.
long one is really good. So
Okay.
we will be getting that one. So get that queued up.
Okay.
Emma, what do you got?
Okay, so I have one from Ken. Ken Byrne. Oh, watching movies all the time, Ken Byrne. Dear Misfits, two quick things. First, you have had many discussions about movies featuring motorcycles. I just stumbled across a new one being released in a few months. It focuses on outlaw bikers, which is not really my thing, he says. But the classic motorcycle footage alone makes me want to see it. It's called The Bike Riders and is inspired by the iconic photo book of the same title by Danny Lyons. Oh, and it doesn't hurt that Norman Reedus is in it. You know, I've seen trailers for this, and it does look interesting. You know, the mid-'60s was really a very, very interesting period in American history. And very pivotal in development of motorcycles. We saw some huge strides being made. So I'm going to watch this when it comes out, and I'm looking forward to it too. Second, last week Emma was talking about some uses for automatic transmission fluid. My father has long used a 50-50 mix of ATF and acetone as a penetrating fluid, as have I, and have never found anything that works better for stubborn bolts. That is true. Also, when bringing antique cars back to life, I will add half a quart to the crankcase for the first starts. It does an amazing job of cleaning out years of neglect and sludge. I've never done this on a motorcycle engine, as most use the same oil for engine and transmission, and I can't imagine that it would be good for clutches. It won't be. Emma, you mentioned using ATF as a fork oil. Never heard of this. I've always purchased purpose-made fork oil. How common is it to use ATF for type Dexron? Does it matter? Fork oil is not that much more expensive, but I tend to have ATF sitting on my shelf. Just curious. Well, this is very, very interesting because before fork oil came along, ATF was the oil of choice, chosen by the manufacturers for use in the forks. So if you look at a genuine Triumph Workshop manual from 1968 or something, or 70, it'll say, yes, 165 cc's of ATF in the forks. Why would you use ATF? Well, I shall tell you. ATF has good penetrating properties, so it's very good for overcoming stiction. Do you know what stiction is, Liza? Stiction is friction that is generated by fork bushes and fork seals.
I knew that.
Well, there you are. You want to make sure you have as little stiction as possible. But what makes ATF really interesting, it has anti-frothing properties. So, you know, when foot fetishes people get really frothy, you should squirt them with ATF.
Oh, no, a stiction is when you pour honey all over the kitchen floor. And
there you go.
Roll around in it, and it gets a little bit sticky.
Oh, my God.
I can't take that.
Good for racing, though.
Yes.
Can't take that picture off my mind now.
But basically, so ATF is a very good oil for forks because it has the anti-cavitation, anti-frothing properties, and it's very, very good for penetrating into areas where you might get stiction. You know, we've got away from it over the years, and fork oil is ultimately better, but if you have an old bike, and I can't, use ATF in it. It'll work great, and it'll hold up well, and you won't blow your fork seals as often, and tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. While we're on the subject of fork oil, if you've got an older bike, I want to make it damp a little bit better, don't necessarily reach for the thicker oil, because I'll put 20 weight in it, it'll feel a lot better. Inevitably, it probably won't. You'll just make it sort of crashy and nasty. Start off with a 10 weight, and if it's really bouncy and you can't get the adjustment right, try a 15. But it's very, very rare that you'd want a 20 weight. Now, the next question, you're going to say, well, what does ATF come out at? ATF comes out at about a 15 weight, give or take. It's on the heavier side for a fork oil. But it works very, very well in older bikes and was actually specified by the manufacturer. Tra-la-la.
So I have one. This one is from Scott, and this is kind of cool. Pay attention.
Hi, Scott.
Here. He says, hey, Misfits, I know this movie has come up on the podcast from time to time, but I wanted to spread the word of an interesting opportunity. I have a local drive-in called the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. Their claim to fame is they are the last 35mm drive-in, and they really only do retro movies. So this 4th of July, they're showing Easy Rider.
Oh, fantastic.
Right? He says it's a bit far for the West Coast misfit since the Mahoning is in Layton, Pennsylvania. But I wanted to spread the word. There are tickets for overnight stays, which is car or tent camping, which is also cool. The theater is motorcycle friendly. In fact, here's a picture of him on his GS at the drive-in. If you need more information, there's a documentary on the drive-in. Check out their website, the Mahoning Drive-In Theater at mahoningdit.com. They also have a podcast. But that sounds like that's like all the bikers showing up for this.
Right.
At the drive-in. That sounds like such a fun thing.
Oh, fantastic. So I'll tell you a little drive-in story. When I first came to California, which was 94, I was living in San Luis Obispo. And San Luis Obispo was one of the few towns left that had a working drive-in. I think it's still going now. I think they've kept it going. But anyway, it had a working drive-in. And back then, I was driving a Lincoln Town Car, which is like 20 feet long, two-door car. And it had this giant trunk. I mean, you could put like 20 dead bodies in this trunk. It was huge. Mm-hmm. And so the method for the drive-in, you'd actually back into the stall in hot summer nights. You'd back in, open the trunk, and then put deck chairs in the trunk and actually sit in the trunk and watch the movie from there. It was great. So that's my drive-in story. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Raymond, do you have one there to read?
Sure.
And don't forget, you need to read it in the accent of where it's from.
No, Raymond's only got one accent, and that's
it's
Bond villain.
It's a Bond villain
It's
accent.
a Bond villain.
I gave him a short one. He can try. Where's it from, Raymond?
It's from Melbourne, Australia.
Truth. Oh, no.
Did you say Melbourne?
Melbourne, Australia. Oh, God.
There we go.
You can give me a French accent one. That would have worked. Okay. Just a quick note to say I stumbled across your podcast
Blimey!
recently and really enjoying what the hell, I can't see the banter and deep dives on mechanical stuff. My mechanical competency probably only extends to cleaning my chain, but always keen to learn. Episode 558's deep dive into the finer points of master cylinder maintenance was great listening. Cheers, Dave from Melbourne, Australia.
His Australian accent just sounds like a speech impediment.
It's the last time I'm going to read an email.
Bloody hell, mate. That was ripper.
Oh, well done.
No, you don't. Raymond, you did great. Don't let Liza make fun of you. You did great. I'm proud of you, Raymond.
Bagel, can you read the long one? Because this one is a great story.
Did you say Bagel's got a long one? Yeah. I have evidence. I've got evidence to the contrary, darling.
It's a very long one.
Oh, God, he's gone bright. Look at the colour of him. He's the same colour as his scooter. Look.
Oh, leave Bagel alone. Oh, my gosh. All right, I want you to listen, this is a great story.
I have a ride report from Joodlebug 1972.
Hey, Joodlebug.
Hey, Joodlebug.
It says, Dear Misfits, hello from big, wonderful Wyoming. I hope you all are doing well. I just wanted to start off by saying I found your guys' podcast a couple of months ago, and it has brought a light into my life that I didn't know I needed.
Oh, that's sweet.
Liza, you sound like a blast to hang out with. Miss Emma, your laugh is absolutely contagious and uplifting. Aww. I don't think I have ever wanted someone to read me bedtime stories before, but I could totally fall asleep to the sound of Miss Emma's voice.
Oh, God.
Stumpy John and Nick Jim both sound like well-minded dudes that I'd love to shoot the shit with around a campfire. And Bagel, you seem like the most level-headed and rational of the bunch.
Oh, God, how little you know, darling.
For some reason, I feel like if there were ever a zombie apocalypse, you're the guy I would want by my side. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Oh my heck.
Duly noted. Also, wanted to tell you guys that you have been a huge inspiration for me. I currently have a really good job that I got right out of high school. It's just about too good for me to quit. However, your guys' constant stories of quitting your jobs and embracing the inner rambling man has made me really, really want to say fuck it and go on a big-ass road trip.
Yeah.
I went to Alaska last summer and drove the entire way there and back, 7,700 miles total.
Wow.
I absolutely loved it. I think that would be a totally badass trip to do again on a motorcycle. I think my plan is going to be as follows. I'm going to ride this job out until I get fired or quit for personal reasons.
Okay.
Then I'm going to pack all my shit on my bike and go on a big ass trip. Probably up to Alaska and back and then down to Mexico and then the East Coast. And then maybe I'll come home. Or maybe I'll fall in love with the road and stay out there forever. As for my bike, I got my first bike in November. It's a 1985 Harley Ironhead Sportster.
Good Lord.
And let me tell you, it's a fucking riot.
Oh, they're great.
It's not the fastest thing or the best handling bike, but it's got personality, that's for sure. It also could be used as a gasoline-powered vibrator. It's a
She'll
constant.
fit right in.
It's a constant battle keeping that AMF garbage bolted to the bike, as it just likes to just likes to shake itself apart. I also have a fun little ride report for you guys.
Okay.
So, like I mentioned, I bought this thing in November. It was located in Montrose, Colorado, and I live all the way up here in Cody. I think about 800 miles apart, if I'm not mistaken. Most logical beings would think, hey, that's a long-ass way to ride a bike back home. I'm going to get a trailer. Not me, though. I, in the dead of a nasty Wyoming winter, convinced myself that I could ride a 4-speed Harley Sportster from middle Colorado to northern Wyoming in one day.
Oh.
Let's just say it didn't quite work out that way. Well, me and a buddy departed from home on Saturday morning and we're southbound. We were about 2 hours into the trip when I had the biggest oh fuck moment ever. I forgot to bring the money for the bike.
Oh, no.
So I needed to get a hold of $2,000 as soon as possible. So what did we do? Well, we stopped at every single ATM along the way, withdrawing $200 at a time out of both of our bank accounts.
Oh, wow.
About around Green River, we get both of our bank accounts locked for obvious reasons. So I spent the next 30 minutes on the phone with the bank, pleading for them to let me take this money out so I can buy the damn bike. Long story short, I was $200 short by the time I got to Montrose, and we were running around town trying to find an ATM that would work. Well, we ended up getting the money. I bought the bike. It was an all right bike. Nothing to write home about, though. It was very low miles, which is why I thought it was a good deal. It had mostly been ridden around this guy's house, so it wasn't particularly highway ready. Nonetheless, I rode the bike to the Walmart parking lot, and me and my buddy slept in his car Saturday night. We woke up pre-sunrise on Sunday and got some breakfast and hit the road. The first 20 miles were going great. Then it started to downpour.
Oh, no.
Keep in mind, my riding gear consisted of a T-shirt with a flannel and a Carhartt to cover.
God.
2 pairs of jeans, a 3/4 helmet, sunglasses, cowboy boots, and a pair of insulated deerskin gloves.
Oh.
What I failed to think of before the trip is that just because it's warm doesn't mean it will keep you dry. I was soaked head to toe by the time we got to the second gas stop. My fingers were shaking and stiff, and I couldn't feel my face. my legs and feet were staying warm, thank God. Even though it was fucking miserable, I powered through. But that was the least of our troubles to come. At the second gas stop, my buddy informed me that I was only going 60 miles an hour. I thought I was doing about 75, but the speedo on the bike was trash.
Oh, no.
I didn't want to push the bike anymore as it was already screaming, so I accepted that I would be rolling into Cody in the dark. Then the bike started having issues. The bike was shaking so violently that parts started falling off.
Oh, no.
First, the turn signals, then the tail light, then the air cleaner, then the mirror. I was just losing shit left and right. There was so much backtracking and trying to keep shit on the bike without the proper fasteners. We finally made it to I-80, which was sort of the halfway point. Going down I-80, we pass a WHP who sees I don't have a plate and pulls me over. Luckily, he was cool and understood I was just riding it home, and then I'd get it registered. I-80 was scary with everybody zooming past me at 80 or 90 miles per hour. At this point, my ass hurt so bad, I was thankful when the hypo pulled me over because I could finally take a break. Anyway, we kept chugging on. After we got off I-80 and kept heading north, the bike started having issues again. It began running like shit. I'd get it to be fine for a few minutes, and then it would start sputtering and losing power again. This went on for about 4 or 5 hours until I finally broke down outside the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Wyoming. Jeffrey City, a little jade mining town. After about half hour on the phone with one of my mechanic buddies, I got it running again, but realized the chain was so loose it was about to slip off the sprocket.
Oh, jeez.
So I decided to second gear limp mode as far as I could from there. My goal was to at least make it to Riverton, which was the next nearest town, which was about 50 miles away.
Ugh.
I kept putting along and kept having issues with how the bike was running. And finally, it just shits itself about 15 miles out of Riverton. I couldn't get her going again. At this point, it was dark and getting dangerously cold. So I called up a tow truck and he and I sat in his car for the next 2 hours waiting for the truck to come. When the truck finally came, we loaded it up, and the driver told us I could keep the bike at his place for a bit until I could come back and get it. That was a huge help because I didn't have anywhere else to put it. Anyway, I literally spent the last $400 that I had to my name on the tow. Absolutely defeated, my buddy and I drove the last 2 hours home in his car, and we got home around midnight just in time for me to get a few minutes of shut-eye before I had to be at work on Monday morning at 6 a.m. All this happened the week before Thanksgiving. Skip forward a few days, and it's Thanksgiving. It's the only day I have available to rent a U-Haul trailer and go get my bike. So I get off work as soon as I can and go get the bike, making it home just in time for Thanksgiving dinner with my parents. My parents never knew about any of this as they do not approve of me having a motorcycle. I got back home and got the bike home and was finally just thinking, what the fuck was I thinking?
Oh, no.
I should have just rented a U-Haul in the first place. I was just happy to be home with my first bike, though. Emma, I need your opinion on what might have happened to the bike. I think it was running lean and got too hot and warped a valve and wasn't making compression anymore, which is why I couldn't start it again. When I got the bike home, I rebuilt the top end of the motor and found absolutely nothing wrong other than it looked like one of the valves wasn't seating all the way. So I lapped it and threw the engine back together and it ran great. I haven't had an issue since. What do you think? Anyway, I hope that story cheered you all folks up, and I look forward to seeing you guys someday. I'm hoping I can make it to Vintage Days next year.
Oh, cool.
P.S. If any of you guys are ever headed through the Yellowstone area, don't be afraid to hit me up. I'd be more than happy to take you guys on the tour of the area and skip all the touristy crap. I know a lot of really cool spots for motorcycle camping and messing around.
Aw, isn't that
Nice.
great?
I'll take you up on that.
Oh
Off the top of my head, and this is off the top of my head, it sounds very much like one of the lifters locks, because what we know about Harley Davidsons of that era, and to this day they have hydraulic lifters, and I think usually what happens is a lifter will collapse. And if a lifter collapses, you can hear them go clack, 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 and they make a horrible noise. But they can lock on the early AMF bikes. And I think that's what may have happened to his bike, just from sheer use. Now, how will this not happen again? Well...
Oh, I can tell you what happened to his bike.
Go on.
He rode it.
Yeah, well... No, I mean, AMF...
That'll teach you.
Yeah, that'll learn you. My advice to you, I mean, you've rebuilt the top end of the bike, which is great. Use very, very good quality oil. It may not happen again because you've got this combination of very, very cold weather with the engine getting very, very hot because you're riding at a quite decent speed in the middle of winter on oil that's probably been in there since the Carter administration. So service
that was good oil back then.
Yes, it was. But service all the bike. Watch your mixture on the carburetor. You really need to do a plug chop on it because, people modify Harley Davidsons. They put loud pipes on them. They put air filters on them, custom air filters. And they don't think about how that's going to affect the mixture, and they can run a little bit lean. So you need to do a plug chop on it. So ride it flat out, kill the engine immediately, and pull your plugs out and have a look at them. And if they're pale or white, you need to jet it up a little bit. What you're looking for is a plug that's nice and grey, or if the fuel mix in your area has got a certain blend in it, it'll be like the colour of a cookie. It'll be nice cookie colour. But if it's white, it's far too lean, and that will lead to hot running. And if it's black, it's running fat. And that's not as destructive for your engine, but if it's running really fat, sooner or later you'll foul plugs, and that's a hassle when you're out on the road.
If it's blue
and if it's blue, you should celebrate.
You dropped a cupcake in the cylinder.
Exactly. But Ironhead Sportsters are their own thing. They are pretty cool bikes. Just remember, the weak point of that bike is the transmission. So no pulling wheelies, no jamming it into second or smashing it into first, because the transmission will go, oh, screw you, buddy. But they're great bikes. I love Ironhead Sporties.
All right, we got two more emails to get through real quick, Emma. That one on top, and Bagel, that other email that you have, just because it's old. Emma, yep. I want you to read this one because this one is special, and I thought you'd appreciate it.
Yeah, this is a neat connection to Mimi and Moto. Hey, and this is from Jacko.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jacko.
I just thought I'd drop a note on a fun little connection. I heard of Mimi and Moto books on your podcast and bought both of them. Mm-hmm. One evening, my wife was looking through the books and recognized her one-of-a-kind R6 paint job in one of the illustrations. Yeah. It was basically the same picture, except that her ponytail had migrated to being a monkey tail. She emailed them, and they sent us a few T-shirts. Attached are a couple of photos of the whole thing. My wife posted about it on IG as well. Cheers, Jacko. So the first shot, of course, is his wife. Stuffing her R6 into a corner. And then there's a picture of a child no less, wearing a Mimi and Moto t-shirt. Adorable little child. She looks like a doll. Then the happy couple themselves also holding said child.
Now look at this picture.
And then the
Mimi
final
and Moto.
picture, it is the same bike.
It is
It's
her
a-
race bike.
It's her race bike, which is a gorgeous midnight blue R6 with gold wheels, I tell you.
It's a very unique style. So what's interesting is somehow, and sure, pictures are all over the internet, but that bike style was used as a model for the Mimi and Moto.
So
bike.
there you
Isn't that
are.
funny?
There you are, Raymond.
And
See?
so
It's a
Nancy
small
and Mark
world.
sent them T-shirts.
yeah.
Cute.
Isn't that funny? But that they learned about it here, and then they go and find their bike in the book.
Yes.
That's awesome.
All right, one last one. Bagel, go ahead and
Yes.
hit it.
So I have an email called "A Seppo Touring Down Under."
Struth. Better
Wait,
get round here with a tire iron. I got a motorcycle
Showing
stuck
off.
up my ass. Sorry.
But this email reads, "Hello, Misfits. This is Paul from Hong Kong and formerly from Portland, Oregon.
Aw.
As an American who has long lived and worked overseas, I really appreciate the emphasis you have had in promoting overseas motorcycle touring for your U.S.-based listeners. I am currently finishing week one of a 5-week ride from Perth to Sydney. Every day I run into European travelers, but not a single American thus far. Australia has been great. Lots of good food so far in the Western Australia wine growing area. I had been led to believe that the locals speak English, but thus far I have failed to find much evidence of this. I seem to be in a constant state of "excuse me" when people are talking to me. Anyway, espresso time is over. Keep expanding people's motorcycling horizons, Paul. P.S. Come September, I will be spending 3 weeks motorcycling the Balkans. I am still assessing my options for spring next year, but the leading candidate is a tour from Chiang Mai, Thailand to Beijing.
Wow.
Or maybe northern Vietnam. There are so many places to go.
Wow, I know.
Yeah.
Indeed.
God.
Especially since Raymond, you've been looking at vintage rides, everything they
Oh,
offer.
yeah.
Yes, of course.
So much stuff.
Yeah, and being grabbed in the Balkans is very, very, very painful for a boy. On that subject of Americans riding overseas, here's some news.
What?
Here is some news. One of my delightful friends, because he just bought a house, is unable to go on the Dolomites training tour. So a space has opened up. If you contact Cat Leod via Leod Escapes, they will cut you a screaming deal.
When is that trip?
It starts on the 21st of June.
Okay.
So, I mean, it literally opened up like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And he's such a nice lad. And I know him personally. He's a very, very dear friend and a customer of the shop. And he's just bought his first house. And he said, look, I can't afford this. And I really need to buy a house. So we applaud him for that. And as disappointed as I am, I'm going to have a new friend, hopefully, on the trip. So if you have an inkling, sign up for it. I absolutely promise you it will be the time of your life. Promise you.
There you go. So motorcyclesandmisfits.com. You'll find a lot of links to our friends there. Our show notes, I've got links to Layout Escapes, to Vintage Rides, all these places. T-shirts, there are still for sale. Again, go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com. Click on shop. There's going to be a nice collection of stickers going out too.
Right.
Got
And
the
you
new
can still buy a
stickers.
T-shirt with me in bed with a Yamaha.
You can. Oh, at
Zazzle. Visit Zazzle and get some merch from Zazzle too. I'm getting some new Miss Emma stickers and Emma's Army and Emma Face stickers printed up, which we will include if they show up in time. But my graphic artists sometimes come through, sometimes doesn't.
It's amazing that a sound can come from a sticker, but when you look at that sticker, you hear.
No, we should explain. We've been watching Kung Pao Enter the Fist, which is easily the worst dub movie ever made, deliberately so as well.
Oh, my word. Send us your emails at motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com. And we want to hear from you.
Yeah, we do. We always love to hear from our listeners. You are just such a lovely bunch of people. And you have extremely good taste in podcasts, too. How about that?
I think we should leave it on that. That is exactly right. So thank you, everyone, especially our Patreon subscribers. Like I said, you're going to be getting your T-shirts and stickers sending out soon. We're going to be looking forward to seeing a bunch of people at our rally.
I sincerely hope so.
We've got a lot going on this year.
There's lots going on in 2024.
Lots going on.
2025 is going to be bigger still. Tra-la-la.
Oh, my word. So, on that note, let's get out of here. Thanks, everyone. This is Liza.
Emma, darling.
Ray.
Bagel.
And we are out of here.
Cool.
Cool.
All right.